What's going on, everybody? Hello, nice to see you again. I'm here with Dominik, a familiar face to most of you, and I'm very happy to welcome back Emma. Emma, you joined us last year when we talked about Melfest. Welcome back. I have to say this again. Hur är läget?
Det är bara bra. Hur är läget med dig?
How are you doing?
Good.
I know I just asked you that in Spanish. But
English.
in Swedish. Wow, I'm already all over the place.
Okay, good, thank you.
Es ist gut, wie geht's mit dir?
Mir geht's super,
Hey.
danke dir. Okay.
Yep. Let's just throw all the languages we got. Why not? So we're here to talk about Melfest, of course. Melfest is obviously a selection that we always look forward to. One of the biggest selections that we have, one with a lot of history to it. And before we dive into the songs, I want to talk to you, Emma, because there have been a lot of changes this year. There's been a changeover in the production. They've changed how they've approached the points revealing, and we've seen kind of a mixed response to that. So what's your take on how the changes for this year's Melfest have impacted the show?
It's both good and bad. It's the show gets more exciting with the voting. It's more like Eurovision in the end, and that's very good. But the weird thing is that the entry with the most points get announced first, and then this exciting Eurovision likely voting counting starts. So it's kind of weird in that way, because then you forget about the winner of the semifinal, you could say. So It's good television, but it's also weird in some kind of way.
Yeah, and I think that this is the kind of thing that, over time, people probably won't respond to it in the same way that they're doing right now, because it is a change. People obviously really love this show. It's such a, family-oriented event that has got like tremendous entertainment value. Dominik, tell me what your impressions are of Melfest in general, and how do you feel about the songs that we have this year?
Okay, so as you have said already, Melfest is like one of the biggest shows we have in Europe in general. And also the reputation is very good. So I have like a lot of friends that are also in the Eurovision bubble, and I'm always asking like, what are you watching tonight? Melfest. I was like, yeah, it's only the semifinal, right? Yeah, but it's Melfest. I have to. Yeah, there are finals, but I mean, it's Melfest. So as you can see, it has a very high population, and I fully agree and understand why that is the case. About the quality of the songs, of course, it has a high quality. It's Sweden, you're used to that. Sometimes it has the tendency to be like, oh, it's Sweden and it's what you expect from it. So sometimes it kind of lacks of originality, and especially like Swedish songs. We haven't had a Swedish song for quite a while at Eurovision. So maybe that would mix things up. But in general, I'm pretty happy about the finalists, which we are going to talk about.
Definitely. And another thing that I really like about Melfest is that they do really make it an experience, particularly with the Melfest app, which makes me want to pull up this, which you might have seen on the thumbnail of the video. But this is our cute little Mellow team, and I love it so much. Obviously, Emma looks very different to how she really looks, but that's just
I wish I looked like that.
Well, I mean, you could very easily find like a purple sparkly wig or something like that, and I'm sure that you could get a top like that. Is that supposed to be like an act that we've seen that has at Melfest that has that?
Yes, 1974.
Oh, of course. Did you recognize that, Dominik?
Obviously. By the way, I was born 95.
Yeah, I mean, none of us were alive for that. I think that's fair to say. So let's say hello to the lovely people who are joining us. Hello to Rye Bailey, already saying Cornelia to win by far the best song. Hello to DJ Parody, Sarah O'Halloran. Hello to Joanne Johnson. Nice to see you again. Hello, Vincent F. Michael Forbes, nice to see you. Favorites to win, of course, we will reveal that a little bit later, but feel free, those of you who are watching, to share with us whenever you like. Hello to Pete Lewis the second. I almost said the third. I don't know, there's something about Louis the third that just kind of rolls off the tongue. But nice to see you the second. And another thing that I want to mention before we dive into these songs is that we are doing a fundraiser for Razum for Ukraine. It's an NGO that provides urgent supplies to obviously the crisis in Ukraine. If you can donate anything that you have, even just a small amounts, whatever you can spare, all of it goes towards a good cause. And there's a link in the description so that you can find out more about that organization. And in the comments, there's a little space where you can very freely give a donation. So with that said, we are going to be following the songs according to the running order. The very first one that we're starting with is this one. And cue.
And I run to the hills. I'm making it on my own. I'm facing my demons. Here I go. I'm running alone to the hills.
I should mention as well that yes, we are trying to give you a taste of the songs, but in reality, it's more of a whiff because it's the very short clips of the songs. But nonetheless, Klara Hammarström really on a great, really has a great track record, I would say now, because this is the third year in a row that she has participated. Her first, well, I don't know if that was her first ever participation, but in 2020, she didn't make it to the final. In 2022, she got to Andre Hansen and then made it to the final that way. And this time she was direct through to the final, got the most points in her semifinal. So tell me, Emma, what do you think about her song?
I would say this is my coffee in the morning. When I'm tired and I try to work, I put on this song and then I wake up. And I think we should send the Iron Woman to Italy. This is my favorite, I would say.
I love that you call her the Iron Woman too, because her outfits have been very notable, especially last year. I think somebody had said to me, I don't remember where I heard this, but somebody made the comparison of her being the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, because her song was called The Beat of Broken Hearts, and I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, what she's got this year, it's more of like fire and it's this bright red kind of thing going on. She's always obviously like very eye-catching, right?
Yeah, she advanced this year from like the silver to the fire.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Totally. Dominik, tell me what you think about her song.
Yeah, so I love it. It's one of my favorites as well, just as Emma has said. I really like her outfit, and it definitely draws your attention. I like the fact that it's up tempo, especially when we take a look at the Eurovision songs, which has been selected so far. We have a lot of ballads and not a lot of bops, so I think it would be a very good addition to it. And I mean, Sweden is always smart because they always select their songs last. So they can basically just take a look like, this is the ones we have so far. So let's take this one, you know?
We found our secret.
Yeah, so hard to discover. You're so welcome. So overall, really like the song, and I hope it has, and I think it has a shot to win. The performance is great. I love the tree in the background, the colorful ones, and it is a lot, but it's not too much. So I think it's the right mixture. Mm-hmm. And like in the middle, there's sometimes suddenly there's like another one coming in, and I was a bit like, "Ooh, what's happening now?" Like a woman which basically looks like her but in green. And I thought, oh, there's something going on. And then she does like one movement and boom, she's gone and you never see her again. I'm like, okay, it was a bit great. I would have preferred a bit more story before this happens. I don't know, that was a bit distracting, maybe. I really hope she can deliver a better vocal performance. That was my only issue, because there are a lot of high notes. Basically, the whole song is high. And sometimes she struggles with it. And if she can overcome that, I hope she can be a contender despite the running order, because SVT did her dirty with it. Like being first is like, even though it's only 12 songs, I know. But I think in Melfest, it is kind of an disadvantage here, I think. So I hope she can overcome that.
Well, I'm curious what you would have to say about that, Emma, because obviously I don't know if you would know this kind of like the in-depth details of where the winners in the past have performed. But I mean, not just the fact that it is first, but some people actually think of opening the show as being a good spot because you're kind of setting the tone. It's a challenge, certainly, because you have to be the one that establishes like the energy of the show. And it makes sense that they tend to start with something that is really up-tempo. And this certainly is one of the most up-tempo songs that we have. But do you think that going first is a disadvantage?
Not in this case, because we have two typical up-tempo songs that really like a party starter. And they chose the best one at the first place, so the second place is not good. So yeah, I think this is good, because otherwise she has been in the second place, and that's bad luck.
Yeah, fair enough. So I mean, I definitely agree with both of you, just as far as like the song being a lot of fun. I like how like it's really fast paced too. And Dominic, you mentioned how the dancer kind of comes in very briefly and then disappears and then comes in for brief moments. And I see what you mean as that being a little bit odd, because usually you expect the dancers to provide a lot of movement and to have a pretty consistent presence. But I actually think that it kind of works because it is kind of like a teaser, right? Like you see her and then you're like, oh wait, where did she go? And then it kind of adds, it keeps with the really fast pace of the song, and that idea of running to the hills, right? So
it's kind of like, no, it's my stage, it's on my own. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
and then they do that little face off just before the last chorus too. So yeah, there's like a whole conflict going on. Why not? I also agree too about the vocals too. Definitely those higher notes in the chorus, they were not there. But I think overall it's a pretty solid performance. Definitely the right way to start the show. And I would like to think of her as a contender too, but we'll obviously get to the rest of them in a little bit. Let's see what you are saying. Pete Louise II, I hope Klara wins. I really want something more up-tempo. DJ Parody saying, Run to the Hills gives me an Albatross vibes.
Yeah.
You have to tell me who you're referring to. Do you guys know Albatross?
I think so.
Dum, 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 dum. This one.
Yeah. I'm thinking more about Cascada.
Oh,
Cascada.
yeah, Cascada.
From
Especially her
Germany.
blonde hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
That style.
Uh-huh. Michael Forbes saying, this is the first time I'm hearing any of the songs. Well, I'm glad. And again, it's not a taste, it's a whiff. So you are going to have to listen to the songs in full.
That's it.
Pete is asking, isn't this the most played and streamed one of the Melfest entries so far? It
is. Absolutely.
No surprise.
And Vincent F is saying, I'd rather run for the hills than listen to this song. So not winning everybody over.
You can do it at the same time. It's good.
Yeah,
motivation.
exactly. I think this would be a good workout song, personally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But let's move on to number 2. Oh, we got one more from Joan Johnson. Clara's song, a feel-good song, definitely. And there's a lot of feel-good songs, including this next one. Let's hear it.
Som du vill, sätt det som du för dig. Jag är galen när du rör dig, jag vill ha dig tätt intill. Som du vill.
Okay, so Theoz is actually our youngest performer here. He is literally as young as you can be to enter at least Eurovision. I don't know if the rules are different for Melfest, but I imagine that they're the same. He's 16 years old and making his Melfest debut. Emma, tell me what you think of his song.
This is the second coffee cup in the morning, I would say. It's hard to stand still for this song. The negative thing is maybe that there's nothing unique about it. It's very happy, and he actually looks like a young Aaron Carter. You know who that is?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah?
I saw that right away.
Yeah, but it's good energy, but nothing special about it, I would say.
Yeah, I kind of see this one as being those kinds of songs that you see as a fixture of Melfest, because it's energetic. We've also got the Swedish language as well, so it's nice to see that kind of fun song that can represent some of the culture of Sweden as well. Dominic, what do you think about this one?
So my first association was like, okay, it's like the Backstreet Boys, but only one member. Like, oh, I just got rid of my boy band and now I'm solo and this is my first single. That was my first association. I like it, but I think it's very generic. Even for Sweden, this is generic. And the style is like a bit dated, I think. I think especially like the outfit and the haircut reminds me of like 2001. It's very very 90s, and that's what adds to the whole like either Aaron Carter or Nick Carter, depending on which one of the Carters goes to your mind first. Okay. So it's kind of going into the dated region instead of the retro, and I'm like having this 1890s style again, but in a different way. So yeah, I mean, it's good for him with 16 that he's in the final. I mean, good for him, and I think that's all he will do. I don't think this is a contender to win by any means. No. But I think he just enjoys the show. I really have the feeling that he's enjoying himself, and the choreo is quite complicated. There's a lot going on, and I applaud them for that by itself. So I think he does a good job, but I think he should come back with a better song.
I should just add that he's very popular among the kids. This is
No
a typical
surprise.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense. Like I could see him really pulling in the youth vote in some ways. But I do agree because yes, this isn't really a contender, and it's really for both of the reasons that you mentioned, Emma. You said that there isn't really that kind of special quality, and then you more or less echoed that, Dominic, because you said that it is kind of generic. And the way that I see this is that this isn't really a song that is meant to win. It's more so for him to have his exposure to the Melfest audience so that people remember him, and then in the future that he at least has made that initial impact so that he can come back with something that is a little bit more competitive. So I think that really he, given that assessment, if that's what he was going for, I think that he has really succeeded, and maybe he could even get like a decent mid-table result, maybe even come close to the top 5, 4, who knows.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing. I have the feeling that in Melfest, there are very few exceptions, but it's like, okay, you need to be established in a certain way to be very, very good at Melfest. At least that's my impression. Because sometimes it's like, okay, I really love this song. Wait, it didn't advance? Why? And then I have the feeling, like looking at the finalists, like, oh, I know all these names. Maybe that has an impact on the result. I have the feeling that this is something in Swedish. I don't know, Emma, tell me. Yeah, I'm right on this, right? So yeah, good for him to be like going there for the first time and going to the finals. So that's a very big achievement already.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually the first Melfest that I recognized a name that I knew from well before, and that was Lisa Miskovsky, because I was familiar with her song "Still Alive" from the video game Mirror's Edge, which is a song that I really, really like. And I knew that she had participated in Melfest, I think, like 10 years ago. So it was nice to see her again. Sadly, she's not in the final, but that is a rarity that, like, I, as a Canadian, see like a someone that like I can say, oh, I know that music, right?
Did you know that she wrote a Backstreet Boys song?
Did she?
Yeah, "Shape of My Heart."
Oh no, I didn't know that. Well, look at how many times we brought up the Backstreet Boys in this Melfest.
He looks like Backstreet Boys, and then like, okay.
So Vincent F saying nothing wrong with a happy generic song. Look, some people like generic. If they didn't, then it wouldn't be generic, right? Because they wouldn't have been making so many of them. Yeah, it's a feel-good song, and Sarah Halloran says reminds them of young Justin Bieber, and yeah, you can see that he's the young pop star at the start of his career. Much more to come from him, I imagine. But from a newcomer to an artist that a lot of people will recognize from Melfest and from Eurovision. So it's great to see Anna Bergendahl again. Obviously, a lot of people have been wanting her to get her moment back at Eurovision because, as we know, she is the only artist who has not made it to the final for Sweden, and a lot of people are heartbroken about that. The song that she's bringing this year is called Higher Power. Emma, tell me what you think of it.
Well, she started with Ashes to Ashes and then Kingdom Come and ended with Higher Power. But it's a good song, but I'm a little bit disappointed because I had very big hopes on her because Kingdom Come was really one of my favorites that year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good, but
I because of that whole story of her missing the final in Eurovision 2010, I think that there are always high expectations for her. Everybody's thinking like, oh yes, this is going to be her chance. And then if the song is a little bit understated, then maybe people change their attitude a little bit. Dominic, how do you feel about this?
Okay, first of all, I love the fact that she's trying again. Like, I can imagine a lot of artists would be like, oh no, I am that one, and that's why I will never compete in any selection again. But she's like doing it all over again, and I really admire her for that, first of all. Then I must say, I love the fact that she's changing her style for every year or every participation, because I remember the last time she had a very different look with the last song. So for this one, I like it. It has a nice flow, and it has like an anthem vibe, I would say. She's very confident, and I like the fact that she's all by herself, but she's filling the stage. And she's not really moving, she's just rotating a lot. But it looks like she's doing a lot, even though it's not. So that's very, very cool. And I like the lightning effect, like in the circle. It's a bit like Undo from Sanna Nielsen, a bit, like this concept, but she did it in her way, and I like that. Not sure about the cowboy hat, even though she's getting rid of.
But she has a horse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ritual hashtag Queen Bees. So
fair enough.
so I like the progression, but I think it's like, okay, there's something coming up, and then it's like meh. You know, I have the feeling that it's progressing and progressing and progressing, and then like meh, there's nothing. There's something missing for me, and I would love to see her as a favorite because she really wants this second chance. But I think she needs another entry for this.
Fair enough. And, you know, I think that what tends to happen sometimes with artists who become like serial national selection participants is that they keep kind of trending in the wrong direction. And I don't think that's the case for her, because one thing that I really like about Anna is that all the songs that she brings has this feeling of elegance to them. And especially this one, I would say it's among the most. So I think it's a very respectable entry. I do appreciate that, like, yeah, other songs are really kind of calling people's attention more, which is not necessarily her fault or her writer's fault, because you don't know that until you actually get there, right? I think it's an overall good entry. I like that it's got this country western feel to it. I'm okay whether it's cowboy hats and wild horses and all that stuff. That's totally fine with me, because it's not like over the top. Like it made sense here. It makes sense here. It didn't quite make so much sense with Aiden and Ritmu and the Maltese selection, I have to say, but difference of opinions for some people. So
we have the cowboy theme already with Estonia, so I think this spot is taken.
I mean, maybe this town is big enough for the two of us, as to borrow from that saying. Pete saying, I love Anna, but I don't know if the song is competitive enough, to be honest. Sarah saying, it sounds like Shania Twain and Carrie Underwood battle. Interesting. I mean, yeah, again, it's I wouldn't call this country music, but it has a country western theme to it. You know what I mean?
Country schlager.
Country schlager.
That sums it up perfectly.
Michael Forbes saying, sung a different song. Oh, right. Asking, so Sarah was asking, what do you think Anna could have done differently in 2010?
Yeah. Well,
are we...
Sorry, Rob, she should have qualified with the song, and Sweden qualified with way worse than that. So, sorry, that was not fair.
I mean, I agree with that, but as we see, Michael Forbes is not so much a fan. And this seems to be, like, there are lots of people who just felt like it was a little bit sleepy. So I don't know. Do you think that the song was the issue?
Yeah, but yeah, maybe. But...
I mean,
fair enough.
I'm trying to forget that part.
Okay, fair enough.
By the way,
so then
came 11, so it's not like she was like dead last or something. It was so close.
Yeah, it's just interesting that this was, I think, the year after the wild cards stopped, and Sweden, I think, had benefited from the wild card spot a few times. So,
Theoz, for example, like from Charlotte in 2008. Which should have been a finalist without the wild card. I mean, I love that as well.
I mean, I guess you just can't get what you want all the time.
that is true, yeah.
All right. Let's move on to another familiar face from Eurovisions of not too long ago. So, of course, we've got Jan Lundvik once again. It was only 2019 that he had won and gone to Tel Aviv to represent Sweden. Was a top 5 placement that year. Emma, what do you think about the song that he's bringing this year?
First of all, he definitely has the best vocals of all in this competition. The voice, it's outstanding. And that's what actually brought him to the final, because the song... It's the Swedish lyric. You should be happy that you don't know Swedish in this case, because the lyrics is so cliche and it's nothing new about it. The melody is fine, nothing special, but it's only he and his vocals that brought this song to the final, I would say.
Fair enough. And I was actually curious about that, about the Swedish lyrics, because there is actually an English version that he has published called Lights Go Low. And I wondered if maybe if he was thinking that, of winning this and then going to Eurovision, if he would want to I don't know, maybe have that in his back pocket in case he felt like that would get him a little bit further. But it's interesting that you also feel like I didn't have any problems with the English version. I did feel like it was somewhat cliche, but definitely not the most cliche song that we've heard this year. But yeah, melodically kind of so-so. Dominic, sorry, I was asking you, Emma, about the Swedish lyrics. So like, I don't know, what is it that you think it's missing?
I don't know. It's like I've heard it. It's like an angel guarding someone, and it's the same all the time. I don't know. It's nothing that really catch your breath.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Dominic? What do you think?
So I agree with you, Emma. The voice, like him, he's delivering the song, and it's just beautiful. Melodically, he's hitting every note, and I really love it. But I wrote down, where are the mamas? I miss them.
Yay!
Like, there's something missing. I don't know. He's not working without them, I think. So when you say the lyrics are bad, I mean, good for him. It's in Swedish, so at least my Swedish is not good enough for that. So I wouldn't be having an issue with that. I like the fact that he's doing a different song than in 2019, because he could have been like, well, I won with that one, so I need this formula and do the same. He's not doing that, so that's good. He's going for the very simple stage. It kind of goes into the boring niche for me. So sometimes, like, when you really
the boring niche.
boring. Oh. Because it really works and draws your attention, and it sounds beautiful, but like after a while, like 1 minute 30, you're like, okay, is there something else coming? You know, so it goes nowhere. It's a bit too monotone in my opinion. But I mean, that doesn't change the fact that it sounds good. So I think there's a reason why he's there, but I don't think he's going to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering the reception. I mean, it's definitely good that he went direct to the final, because it shows that he is absolutely making an impact. Whether or not that will be the same case at this final, we'll have to see. But I would agree as well. It doesn't seem to be really like exciting people that much by any means. But absolutely, excellently performed song. I do really like him as a performer too, and it would be nice for him to have his moment without the mamas. As you know, I'm a big fan of the mamas, and they can come back to Melfest and
they need their moment first, and then...
Yeah.
True. Fair enough. Michael Forbes saying, John has an amazing voice, you just can't help but listen. Hello to Mark saying, my winner is Cornelia Jakobs. It's a masterpiece of a song and could be Sweden's 7th victory at Eurovision in Turin. We will, of course, talk about Cornelia. We're following the running order, so we are about 5, 6 songs to go before we get to her. But we hope that you stick around, because we will share our thoughts on those. And for those of you who are watching, please send us in your comments and tell us what you think of the songs that we have this year. Sarah Halloran, if John won, he would reunite with Mahmood, his fellow competitor. Yeah, it would be nice to see some more 2019 artists coming back, because I think a lot of people remember that year fondly.
Yeah, and I hope he has the chance to get rid of the meme.
Yeah.
That Lundvik is mostly like a meme of a bitter loser, and he doesn't want that. I think that's real good motivation to come back.
Well, as I've said, I'll pull up this comment again. As I've said in the past, the competitors need to practice their gracious loser face. You have to be prepared to get that bad news and then go, right?
Take a look at the Oscars. Yeah, I'm so happy for you. No, you're
exactly.
not. No, you're not, and we all know that.
So Joanne Johnson saying, I'm not sure about this song, but not his best, but great vocals. And this is correct. John is originally from the UK. I believe he was actually adopted to a Swedish family.
I'm not sure about that, actually. But he wrote the UK song in Eurovision at the same year he competed himself, I think.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
And he definitely chose the right song for himself.
Yeah.
About the being a loser face, Tamara from North Macedonia did it the perfect way.
Exactly, which is so funny, because it was supposed to be her next to Duncan Lawrence. That was supposed to be the moment.
So he would like win-win situation, but
Yeah.
now they messed it up. Belarus. Ah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our next one. This is Tona, who qualified through the 5th heat or semifinal, the semifinal, whatever they're calling it. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's hear the song.
I learned to live just like my mama said. My way. Go on and dance on my grave.
So as I understand, Tona is, this is, I believe, her Melfest debut, and she's quite a well-known influencer. Is that right?
Yes, and it's also the first transgender person who compete in the Melfest ever.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And yeah, a very famous influencer that YouTube
Yeah.
makeup videos. And so.
And I mean, especially when you put that into the context of her song, obviously it, puts it in a bit of a different light. So tell me, what do you think of her song?
I think this is exactly what we need. It's like glamorous, and it's some kind of modern schlager. Have you seen After Dark, La Dolce Vita?
No, I haven't.
Not yet.
Okay. It's like that, but this is more classy and more real and not a parody. It's for real. And I think it's very brave, and I think it's such a nice ending of the song with like confetti and fire, and it's just she's going there and owning the stage. There's one small problem that might be a big problem.
What's that?
She's not a really good singer. It's the vocals in the back. It's the choir that makes the job here, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider her to be among because obviously we have some really talented singers that we have here. We were just talking about John Lundvik, who obviously is making a big impression on us and the people in our comment section as well. But also, I also feel like this is not the kind of song that is really requiring that. It's more so about the story and the personality that she brings to it. And I kind of like how this song has a bit of a similar, slightly similar sound to Charlotte Pirelli's song from last year, Still Young, but from the opposite side of it, because she's a young woman who is going her way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dominic, what do you think of Tona's song?
So one thing about the not so well vocals, I mean, you have the backing vocals, and that's fine for Eurovision as for now, so that's fine, I guess, because I didn't recognize the bad vocals, and if you can hide them well, I mean, that's fair, that's valid, but the song
do we encourage hiding it though?
No, that's not
I'm
against this rule, but as long as there's this rule, you can take advantage of it. That's my point.
True.
So the song is about the message. Without the message, it wouldn't be in the final, I think, which is fair, and I love that, and I love her as a performer, and she has a very nice stage presence, and she's owning the stage. I really like that. The thing is, sometimes another positive thing, I like the beat. So it's like a kind of a ballad, but like a power ballad, and there has a pretty strong beat in the song, which I like, because that's not what you usually would associate with a ballad. I love the message, but sometimes it's a bit too literal, I think. It's too in your face in terms of there are other ways to have the lyrics, but still have the same message, Sometimes I have the feeling that it's too cliche in a bit, but that doesn't undermine the fact that I love the fact that that she's in the final, and that when you say that it's the first time, I think just as with Theoz, I think she will come back no matter how the result will be, and I think there's room for improvement, and I think there's definitely more to come.
Yeah, I think as I said before, the story of her and being the first to participate in Melfest, it could really have a really positive impact, and maybe young trans artists who have been dreaming about that will see themselves through her. I definitely agree as well about the song, about it being pretty on the nose, and you don't have to do a lot of digging. They're really putting the message right out there for you so that you understand it fully. And I mean, I think that there are times where that works. It doesn't kind of take away from the mystique that you want in a winning song, I would say. But I don't think that for Melfest, it's okay. We've seen lots of this kind of thing, and it's really just about, I think, the role that it plays in the show, rather than it having to say, this is me, this is the best song that I have, and this is what I want to win with,
Yeah.
One other thing that I feel is a little bit of a problem is the reveal, because I mean reveals are pretty cliche as it is, and I don't feel like it's that impressive of a reveal personally.
I wrote down that as well. Like in the beginning, she had like this big jacket, and it was like, I guess there's gonna be a reveal.
Yeah.
And it's not like, is there a reveal? When will it be? That was the
Yeah.
question. So it was like, who? And I was like, oh, shocker! A dress.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Maybe it would have been better if she would have had 2 reveals, because we wouldn't have
Exactly.
imagined that. Like, ha, gotcha. That would be a moment. So maybe,
Yeah.
who knows? She's gonna do that on Saturday. I would love that.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think especially if you're going to present yourself in a way that makes it obvious to expect a reveal, you gotta up the game. And what you're going to be showing, it's got to be something like out there, like a Klara Hammarström level of outfit. Did you have something you wanted to add, Emma?
No, I think she needs 2 reveals, like Linda Bengtsson in 2006 with Jag ljuger så bra.
Yes.
Look at that. That's impressive.
All right.
Hopefully for the finals, you never know.
That's true. I mean, that would be a very simple thing to change, because I mean, you just need to make sure that it all coordinates, and then you're not like changing the blocking or anything. You might need to coordinate the dancers around to do that actual moment, but it's, as far as I can see, a relatively easy switch.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, she has already switched it from the first performance to the second. I don't know the terms, like not Andre Chanson show again. Semi-final performance. So in the beginning it was black, and then it was red. I must say I preferred the black dress. It suited her better. But I think she has changed it once already, so why not for a second time? For the
Now
final.
it will be gold.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so cool. Plus, one more thing, the staging is cool. I like the background, but there are like instrument players, like violin I think that doesn't work for me.
No, I like that. That gives the classy feeling.
Really? It's like it's not necessary. She has so much stage presence. I really thought they take a lot of space. Why don't you let the stage for herself? I think that was my issue. I don't know. There was something.
Yeah.
Whose team do I take on this one? I'm kind of with Emma. Dominic, we agree on a lot of things. This time I'm with Emma. I don't think that they added a tremendous amount to the performance, but I think that it was kind of like a nice offset. It wasn't a distraction, I would say. So I'm kind of But anyway, Minhinstidan saying, I think the song is just fine. I used to watch her makeup tutorials in 2016, so it's cool to see her progress in her career. Absolutely. Tiarkil U9 saying, I would love to see her, but she needs vocal training first. So yeah, we've addressed the fact that her vocals she's not like a standout performer, and certainly at this moment with these performers around her. So maybe she'll improve for another year. But now let's move on to what appears to be one of the favorites. And as I understand, there's a big story behind this. So let's hear the song first.
Hear my heart beating like a symphony, and every word is poetry.
Okay, Emma, so catch us up. What is the story behind Anders?
Well, Anders Bagge, he was first like a jury member of the Swedish Idol, and he still is. And then he became a very big TV personality with his own shows, and everyone loves him. He's a very likable person. But he has also written songs to big stars like Celine Dion, for example. So he's a very good songwriter. And now he takes the step out on the stage and sing on his own. And the thing about him is that he has a very, very big stage fright. So that's why people, when they were watching him, they were like, come on, Bagge, everyone loves him. And they were like, hope it goes well. And then he nailed it. And then he cried, and the snooze was like rinning, and he was crying, and he said, I have no confidence. But he made it, and now he's in the final. So it's like a heart-catching story.
Absolutely. I mean, and that makes me respect him a lot, honestly. And you mentioned the fact that he is pretty well established. I also want to mention that he has some Eurovision songwriting credits for Azerbaijan 2010 and 2012. So we have some familiarity with him from the Eurovision crowd. What's that, Dominic?
He wrote Drip Drop.
Yeah.
I love this song. How is that possible?
Now
Well,
you like him too.
Okay.
lots of reasons to like him, but let's get to the song, because the song seems to be the kind of dividing aspect. So what do you think about the song that he's bringing?
Well, lots of people I talk to, they say there's no one else than Bagge. I'm gonna vote at him. He's like a big favorite. So I think he will definitely get the votes from the people, from the voters. But yeah, I think he's very brave. He has a good voice. The song is good. It's top 5, I would say, in my taste. But it's not a winner. It will get the same effect like with Tusse, because the Swedish people loved his background story. And the same with Anna Bergendahl, 2010. She was this young girl going there. This is my life. It's the same thing here. It will not go so good in Eurovision, I think. Unless people hear the drip drop story, maybe he will get.
Well, let's throw to Dominic then, because now that this is news to you, how's your has that changed your opinion of the song?
If you would have sing Drip Drop, maybe, because it's one of my favorites. I'm happy that Lena won, of course, but I think Zafura should have been higher. But anyway, no, I really don't like the song. I'm sorry. I think it's very dated. It would have been dated 20 years ago already, I think. So not a fan. I like his vocals. He sounds like Olsen brother, like the third member.
The long lost one.
Yeah, the missed one, the Swedish brother. So that's cool. And the song is not easy to sing, and he delivers it well. I like the background, even though it's very simple, but it's still impressive. I love the nature theme. But again, the song does nothing for me. It's very dated, and it's kind of a copycat, I think. It really sounds, the chorus sounds like Spain 2012. Can it take
Can't
me?
take me. Yeah, a little bit. So
That part, I was like, oh, I remember that. That's Spain 2012. And it also throws me off a bit, because then I have Can I Take Conmigo? I think that's the title. In my head the whole time, and I don't pay attention to the song anymore because it's so distracting to me. But of course, I'm a Eurovision freak, so I would be like, and the ordinary viewer wouldn't care, obviously. But that was so off-putting. I don't know why, but have you recognized that?
no, and I'm curious because Emma, I think you have the list of songwriters open, and I know that Thomas Gison is one of the songwriters for Quédate Conmigo. Is he on this one as well?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Case closed.
This is exactly what happened with me in UMK with the Rasmus, and comparing it to Poison by Alice Cooper, and then Klara goes, "Oh, that was the same songwriter." But anyway, I definitely agree. I'm happy to have learned the story of the song and him, because I do think that's really moving, and I'm glad that he's having his moment. I do, of course, have to pay more attention to the song itself, and I do feel like from a musical point of view, I think it's catchy. It's very easy to remember, and he's very likable. He performs it in a very good way. From a lyrical point of view, it sounds like more or less every song that we've heard from the UK in the last 10 years. Like, Take My Hand, Trust in Me, Follow Me. Yeah, Storms Don't Last Forever, whatever. And I mean, I think for some people, they would love to try and test that and put that to Eurovision to see if, like, oh, well, if this is what the UK would send, then is it going to get a better result because it's Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Steering clear of that argument, I have my reservations about this being the choice, though I do see the qualities in it. I see why people can really like it, because it's anthemic, right? And especially with the story in mind, it makes it puts it in a different light, which I think can really make a difference for a number of songs. What are you guys saying? We have Vincent F saying, I think that this is a song that may resonate with Swedish people, but it won't do very good in Eurovision. And that's what you were saying as well, Emma.
And I think that's why they have international juries. in the selection.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the international juries receive a song like this. I am very curious about that. Joanne Johnson saying, I'm sure he'll get lots of votes, but not a winner. Sarah Halloran saying, would Anders have done Melfest when he was younger? I guess not, because he had stage fright. Pete saying, Emma, you as a Swede, do you think that it will have the most votes from the Swedish public? I have no clue who is the most popular over there. And you say,
yeah, he will definitely get the most votes from the Swedish people and voters. He's so popular here.
Okay, well, let's move on to another familiar face, another returnee who has won Melfest before and gone over to Eurovision. Let's take a listen. A lot of people are always happy to see Robin Bengtsson back. I know that he has a number of fans, both female and male, on Team Eurovox. Just saying, whenever his name comes up, people kind of go, up. Emma, what do you think about his song this year?
This is a safeguard. It's something that, you know what it is, you know what to expect. But now he advanced a little bit to this 80s style, a little bit Take On Me. And he's moving on stage and he's laying on the ground, and you usually see him standing still. So he advanced, but I don't know. I'm not that big fan. I love his voice. There's something about his eyes that frightens me. I don't know.
Frightens, really?
Yeah, they're like the same all the time.
Okay.
Take a look at his face and his look. It's something that annoys me when I watch this. So it's better to just listen for me. Then it works.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could speculate to see whether or not he's fully into it. I mean, because I would say that he's a pretty good performer, but maybe well, I don't want to. I think I'm going down a road that I'm probably be better to not go down. But so really the impression that I get from you is that you like him, but not the song quite as much.
No, the opposite. I like the song and I like his voice. Maybe he should get inspired by Norway, have a mask or something.
Maybe he's one of the subwoofers. Who knows?
Could you imagine if secretly, because obviously you're not allowed to, but one of the subwoofers was actually participating in another country, underhandedly? I don't think you could actually pull that off, but it would be interesting.
No. It would be so much fun. Like a mask singer, I'm the host. Oh, I have to go backstage and then put on the mask and then be one of the participants. It would be so much fun.
Yeah. Anyway, different country, different song. Dominic, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I agree with Emma. I think this song is pretty basic. It's okay. It's fine. It's really.
Oh, but Emma likes the song.
You like the song? Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
but I'm
dislike
not a
the song. But it's radio friendly, and that's just a marked word for me as a German. it's too safe, I think. And especially as a returnee, as one who was the winner of Melfest in 2017, of course, you're going to compare that song with the current one. And I think 2017, I can go almost so much better than this. And then you're raising a question, okay, why should this be the representative if he has already competed with a much better song? So I don't think this should be the winner. I wrote down it's generic and it has a lot of OOOs. Yeah, I don't know. Not for me.
Yeah, I am always curious what he brings, because I feel like whenever he participates, he's definitely a contender, right? For example, in 2020, I was not a big fan of I Can't Go On, but I did quite like Take a Chance. I thought that it was one of the songs with a pretty solid performance, and it had really nice staging as well with that. And this definitely feels like a slight step down. It's not bad in any regards. And I agree. I like his voice as well. But the 80s new wave thing, the trend has been here for a long time. And it just seems like if you're trying to up your game, try something else. A lot of people are doing that. Maybe not as many in Melfest this year, but just around Europe, in pop music in general, we're hearing it a lot. And I guess especially this impact of Blinding Lights from 2 years ago is still in the zeitgeist a little bit. So Yeah, I do wish it was a better song, but it's certainly not
Yeah.
bad.
But I actually liked his first entry, Constellation Prize, the first song with the harmonica, and so.
I know I've heard that one, but I can't remember it because it was like
Mm.
a one-time thing that I heard it. So I'm drawing a blank. But DJ Paradis saying, I can't go on, I can't go on. Tarkil saying, typical Robin, his songs always seem so familiar to other dated hits, which are simply better. Michael Forbes saying, I always find Robin lacks personality in his performance. So maybe that's kind of what you're feeling, Emma, in terms of
That's
having...
what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All
What
right.
about the face? You need to hide your face.
As I said, some people on Team Eurovox, they're big fans of Robin in all of his parts. Let's say. That's an F. Oh no, Dominic. I'm not sure what comment that is specifically referring to, but please elaborate if you may. And Hissy Dunce is saying it's too uneventful in my opinion. Robin's Mellow debut entry is still my favorite of his discography, and that's Constellation Prize.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, let's move on to our next artist. This is a returning face. I think this is her second participation.
Yeah.
So let's hear it.
Till I find my freedom. Till I find my...
All right, this is easily one of the few power ballads that we've got here. It has been a more up-tempo year, I would say, for Melfest in general. So, you know, it is nice to have those songs that change up the feeling a little bit. What do you think of this one, Emma?
I liked her first entry better. It's called Crying Rivers. I think it was 2020.
Yes.
But she didn't even come to Andra Chansen with that song. And that was a really, really good song. And this came like directly to the finals. And it's good. And I was very surprised that she got to the finals. But I think it's easy to forget this one. Because it's between, it's between Robin Bengtsson and LIAMOO. I think, but she is lovely. She has like a great dress and a good performance, and I like that she has the background, the choir, by her side. That they show like the choir people. So that's a big plus, and she's a really good singer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of the stronger performers when it comes to vocals and, you know, stage presence, I would say as well. I do agree that the choir really adds a lot. This is actually one of my favorites for the staging because I feel like that kind of hallway that they did in the background, it such a simple thing that adds so much depth, and I really, really like that. And I feel like the visuals progress in such a gradual way that it's perfect in that regard because, you know, at first it's just her kind of alone in that hallway kind of thing. Then we get the choir that comes in, they fill up the space, and then we get kind of like a sunrise in the background is what I got, not like a literal one, but sort of an implied one. And I also do think that Crying Rivers, that's a song that kind of jives with my taste a little bit more. But I feel like this time, the song that she has is a little bit more, like it's a nice balance of this is who I am as an artist and this is a Melfest song, which I think some artists kind of struggle with, where they lean too heavily into one or the other. And I feel like Crying Rivers, while I liked it, it was maybe just not the right venue for it. So I'm happy to see that has translated into results for her and that she's gone directly to the final. How do you feel about this one, Dominic?
Yeah, so I agree definitely on the staging. I think it's the best one. Especially the first shot. It's like, wow, I love that. Kind of reminds me of, in a different way, but it has this effect that it's like 3D maybe? Like the
3D?
Like, yeah, even though it's only a screen, it looks like it's going way more in the deep.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so cool. It's a bit like Hammer of Thor, I think. The first shot was like, oh, I want more. I had that here. I love gospel music, and it gives me gospel vibes, definitely. And I like the fact that that she's interacting with the backing vocalists. My problem is that it misses some kind of progression. It's a bit like Anna Bergendahl. It's like progressing, and then it's missing again. That was my problem with it. I'm not familiar with the first song, but I definitely have to take a listen afterwards, and then I will compare it. But I mean, good for her that she's in the final. And I think she definitely has potential to be the Swedish representative at some point. I can see that happening because I like her vocals, I like her style. Her dress is amazing. I really like that. But I think this song is not strong enough.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I like the way that she sings the song. I think that she does a good job at selling it, even if kind of on its own it doesn't make that much of a mark. But she's obviously supported by that, having that performance, by even though the choir isn't a live it's not live vocal. I'm pretty sure that's also a backing track, and then also having the visuals as well. I think all of those things work quite well. We haven't had any comments about Faith, so let us know what you think about Faith. And in the meantime, I'll remind you of our donations to Ukraine. If you have any money that you can spare, the organization is called Razum, and they supply urgent what's the word? They supply needs for the Ukrainians to provide relief, and anything that you have goes directly towards them. So please donate if you can. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Eurovox, because we cover all the national selections. Of course, we're at the very end now, so there's only so many more to go. But please let us know what you think of those songs. We also still have a few internally selected songs that are coming up. Vincent F saying this song is great vocals, but next. Okay, Joan Johnson, she needs a better song. Okay, so maybe the opinion in this room is that the song is not doing it for people. So let's see what people think about this one then.
I've become so heartless. I just keep on going.
All right. I think that there's always at least one entry in the final that gives us this kind of up-tempo flair. We've got a very stylish performance, and I think that LIAMOO is a returning artist to Melfest. Is that right?
Yes, it's his third time, I think.
Okay.
And his best result was a duet with a Swedish singer, and then came at a runner-up place.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what do you think of Bluffin this year?
This is the third coffee cup, I would say. It's like it's definitely what we need after.
Wait, still in the morning?
Nah, maybe now.
It's your midday cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. But I like this. It's lifting. It's a song compared to Bergendahl and Fake Kakbo. It lifts. It gets better and better, and he has a great energy, a great voice. It's very modern song. It will definitely be like on the dance floor and Spotify list. And it's not a winner, but it's definitely a strong contender.
Mm-hmm. One that leaves an impact on you, whether it's for the energy or the visuals, I would say. What do you think about this one, Dominik?
So this is usually the song I'm going for. I love this type of music. I'm a lover of dance, beat, whatever you call it. So big plus. I think it has the best camera shots. They're working very well, especially because they're tight, and I'm usually a fan of that. He has a very nice attitude, and the lighting is great. The purple suits very well. My issue is that the stage comes across as empty, maybe, because he's all by himself, and sometimes that works. For this one, it doesn't, I think, because it's like a dance track. So maybe use something like from UMK, like what's his name again?
Isaac?
Isaac, yeah, there you go, Isaac. Because this gave me like this dance vibe in a club. Yeah. So maybe he should have had 5 dancers, very tiny space, and a lot of lightning strikes. That would be the staging I would use, because then it would work a bit better, because there are a lot of passages without any singing. So just him and the beat, which is great. It's well produced. It's high quality. I really like that. But it's like, yeah, that's it. There's something missing in terms of the dancing. But if this is my biggest critique, then it says a lot, because I think this song is good. It's very good, and it works, especially like on Spotify. I can imagine it has a lot of listens, or like a lot of views or something. No, okay.
It's top, not the best, but it's top, absolutely.
Yeah. So happy that he directly qualified to the final, and I think I'm like gonna listen to his music more often now because this song hooked me somehow.
Mhm. I'm with you as far as like really liking this style. I've mentioned in a number of other national selections that we've covered that it seems like this is becoming more. I mean, it's been a trend in pop music for a while, but now we're starting to see this more in national selections, which is, I think, a welcome thing. Hopefully, it just doesn't run off trends that quickly in the rest of the world, because otherwise, it's going to start looking a few years too late. But definitely the most flashy performance. I mean that in a good way, and because sometimes we talk about style over substance, and I don't think that's really the case here. But yeah, the visuals are very impactful. I with what you said, Dominic, about needing dancers and stuff, like there is something that I agree with, in the sense that while the visual is really great, having the 2 rows of lighting and him framed around it, it does kind of run out of steam at some point, and I think that you do need something else to just keep that progression going. Whether or not it would be dancers is like I'm not sure. I have thought about that as well, but yeah, it's very striking off the start, but to me it just kind of loses steam a little bit. I love the fact that he is very energetic, at least, and that the performance is overall pretty good. One thing that I am kind of annoyed by is when the pre-recorded vocals end up being an opportunity for someone to just kind of mouth along, and I don't know, maybe that's too nitpicky. It just looks a little like cheap to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's go to some of these comments. Michael Forbes is saying Emma must be buzzing her nut off before she leaves the house in the morning. How many cups of coffee do you actually have in a day?
Maybe 4, 5.
Wow.
It depends.
Wow, really?
It depends. But it depends on the day.
Okay.
Sometimes
How about you?
it's 0.
How about you, Dominic?
It really depends on the day. So sometimes like 2 or 3, sometimes like 6, 7.
I have
Yeah,
one.
I know. It's crazy. One.
One, yeah.
Okay.
Because
if you have only 1 cup of coffee and just 1 song for Melfest, which one would it be?
ooh,
Oh.
I think from a song point of view, it would be Bluffin. But from like an overall package, like all things considered, it would be Run to the Hills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought so.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Tarkil says LIAMOO is slightly overhyped for me. Vincent F saying Bluffin. I don't think it's a Eurovision winner, but I love it. DJ Parody asking, would this be my dance with Milena? Well, you decide. It is, it's funny because this is in that genre as well as Milena's song Kami Kami. Do you know this from the winning song for Junior Eurovision this year?
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay, we'll check it out. Because we're
Oh,
going to.
love that song.
It is quite similar to this one, I would say. And we're going to Yerevan in either November or December, whatever they decide. Thank you for the music. I think I read that he will have dancers in the final, but I could be wrong. Do you know anything about that, Emma?
No, but I need to look that up. Maybe.
Vincent F saying, particularly with so many ballads this year, Bluffin is a breath of fresh air. I assume you mean more so with regards to Eurovision rather than Melfest. Minhinsi Hans, my dad thinks that Benjamin Ingrosso would be a better fit for the song. Do you think that Benjamin Ingrosso would be a better fit for the song is what I want to know.
No.
Right. Yeah, neither do I. Anyway, let's move on to a favorite. It seems to be one of the favorites for the international fans. Let's hear it.
Hold me closer, although you leave before the sunrise. I'll be bleeding, but don't you mind, I'll be fine.
So this is our very first qualifier of the year, was the first one to win the semifinal in the first round of voting. Emma, I want to know, what do you think of this one?
I really hope she wins. Klara Hammarström is my favorite, but this is a very strong second favorite. And I think we need to send a strong woman with a very strong song. And this song is the real shit. She's singing like from her heart. And it's a song about her breakup. And it's very honest and brave. And it's such a simple staging. And I really like that because it comes very real. And I like her voice, and I like that she has this rock background in her voice. Her father is a famous rock singer in Sweden. He competed in Melfest 2006 with a band called the Poodles. You should listen to that. It's really
Okay.
nice. So yeah, I really hope she wins, and I think the international jury will vote for her most.
So, it's been very interesting to see because it has been like an overwhelmingly positive reaction from the international community, what I've seen. And a lot of people are saying that if she were to win Melfest, that she could potentially win Eurovision. And we've even had a comment already from someone who said that they felt like this could be Sweden's 7th win and tie Ireland for Eurovision wins. How do you feel about this, Dominic?
I agree on that. I think it's a contender to win Eurovision if this is gonna be selected. But I think she's like the only singer who could perform the song in that way. So I think the song itself is good, but she's elevating it so much with her vocals. They are so impressive. I love this rawness, this raspy dirt. It's also very authentic the way she delivers it. Even though it's Melfest, I think more or less every move, everything is choreographed, but it looks like she's doing it just spontaneously, which I really like. About the voice, even though I love it, in the end, I have the feeling that it's a bit too much, that she's hurting her vocals a bit. I don't know. There's something like that she barely can hold the voice because it's gonna go too raspy or too, I don't know, I'm missing the words here, but like it kind of reminds me a bit of Sia, and sometimes she's having these cracks in her voice, which are sometimes fine. In the end, it's a bit too much. So maybe the level in the first part of the song should be kept in the second. Then it would be like perfect. It's not like a big thing. It's really nitpicking. But maybe she can improve that in her final performance. But I think she's going to win anyways, or at least she's still a contender no matter what. Also, like the fact that it's stripped down, as Emma has said, the staging is very simple, but it works. It's not feeling empty and appropriate to the song. And yeah, she is the one to beat, I would say.
I hope so, because ever since the song has been released, I have not forgotten about it. I've come back to it many, many times, and I do really like this idea of a potentially, winning Melfest and then winning Eurovision. Obviously, that's a few steps too far, and we have to, address address Melfest first. I love the rawness of it. I threw a question in a Facebook group called Melodifestivalen Universe because I wanted to know how people felt about that positive reflection of Cornelia's song, thinking of it as raw and personal and honest, because there is kind of a backhanded side to that, as saying that Melfest songs don't typically have those qualities, and I think that there's a very interesting discussion to be had there. I'll go to you quickly, Emma. What do you make of that assessment?
What did you say? One more time, the question.
So the idea that this song, the strength of it is that it's raw and personal, and that it feels like she's like really speaking directly to you, and that sometimes the impression that some people have is that Melfest songs don't often have that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not, and something interesting. She's not a famous name. I have never heard about her before she entered Melfest this year, and yeah, it's like we always send like pop guys, and it's catchy and it's Spotify friendly, and yes, and this is straight to you. It's real pain directly in the camera. So yeah, it's unusual. Maybe this is our chance to win the trust back from the European voters.
Yeah, I mean, Sweden, even though they are usually placing very, very high and in the top 10, despite I think last year was like the very first time outside the top 10 since 13 maybe, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's been a while.
2014.
I think, no, 14 was Sanna Nielsen. She came third.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was Robin, which should have been so much higher. That was my favorite of the year. But anyway, so I think that's really what at least the Eurovision bubble is begging for from Sweden. First female, Sanna Nielsen was the last female act who actually performed. I mean, the Mamas, but we all know how that ended. And then it's like very authentic and raw. And Sweden has the reputation of being too generic. And I mean, with this song, I think you could show, well, no, we're showing differently. The only thing would be maybe sing it in Swedish, then everyone would be like, yes. But I think
Yes.
the English works. It fully works, and she shouldn't change it just for that, for the sake of being in Swedish. No.
Don't change it to Swedish because it's only appeasing the Eurofans, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
exactly.
Absolutely,
I
like
mean, that would
write
tick another
a
box.
Swedish version if you want, but like for Eurovision, take this because it's fine the way it is, you know.
Exactly. So I think there would be a big hype, and I think she would win every pool, and the odds, or at least would be even higher now than Sweden already is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you for the music saying that they saw in an interview that Cornelia wanted the performance to have a live concert feel, and that definitely comes through. One thing that I haven't said, though, is that there are certain aspects of this staging that I'm a bit split on, but for the most part, I quite like the fact that we get so close to her and that she's, you know, often singing directly to the camera, and even like, you know, certain little things like when the kick drum hits and she throws her hair down and then all of a sudden it's messy. It's just it's so great. Paolo saying real, raw, honest, and rough around the edges, exactly what we've been asking for from Sweden for so many years. Yes, 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 yes. Let's keep in mind that there have been other songs that were like that have been passed on. So it's not a guarantee. I really hope that this this makes it.
Kind of have the feeling that it's harder for her to win Melfest than Eurovision.
Yes.
I don't know why. It's like when she surpasses this, then she can do
Anders
anything.
Bagge is going to win, and our Eurovision song chances are gone.
Yeah, they are.
Let's manifest good things. Let's manifest the things that that we want. ESC Viral, nice to see you with a Canadian flag. Cornelia's song hits me so deep. If it wins, it will shoot straight to the top for ESC. Minhisti dancing. I get the impression that Cornelia wants to win more than Anders. Can Emma confirm? Emma, can you get inside her brain? Get inside both of their brains and tell me which one wants to win more.
I don't know. I would say none of them. I would say Klara Hammarström. She's like competes with horses and stuff. She's the one who wants to win. But Anders Bagge will get more emotional about winning. I have no idea about Cornelia Jakobs. I guess she wants to win.
Anna Bergendahl wants to win.
Who?
That's for sure. Anna Bergendahl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we have 2 other songs to talk about, so let's get to those. Let's listen to number 11.
I feel alive. Oh, when you taste like that, and I can die.
I have a lot of fun saying this artist's name. Cazzi Opeia, is it?
I think so. Cazzi Opeia, I would say.
Okay. Tell me about her and what you think of this song.
Oh, this is so interesting. This is the song that has been played the most at the radio stations right now in Sweden.
Okay.
She is like the artist in the shadows, I would say. She has written lots of songs to K-pop bands and got like million listeners, and she's very big in the shadows, but now she steps forwards, and I think she's doing a great job. It's so catchy, and after this, it's perfect after Cornelia Jakobs' like raw pain, and now you can just breathe. Whew. It's simple, it's easy, it's happy, it's lots of colors, and they just have this great happy energy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I like that aspect of it as well. That it's very easy and fun, right? I'll get a little bit deeper into that, but first, Dominic, tell me what you think of this song.
I wrote down annoyingly catchy. It's in my head the whole time, even though I don't want it to be. That's because it's bad, but it's so like it's very repetitive, and it's like it just sticks in your head, and I think that's a good thing. And maybe that's what she was aiming for, and she definitely succeeded with that. So I wrote down style and attitude and sass. And I mean, her look is very interesting, even though that she's not in the 20s anymore. Let's say it like that. But I love the fact that she's dressing the way she does. And I'm not surprised at all, because I think this is a radio pleaser in a positive way. And yeah, it kind of reminds me of Ava Max. I wouldn't be surprised if this would be a song from Ava Max or Katy Perry or something. So maybe like it's not unique in that sense, but maybe that also is the reason because of this genre because it's a bit replaceable, if you know what I mean. But overall, I really enjoy it, and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I like it. I mean, I think someone wrote like bubblegum pop, and yeah, I love bubblegum. So
Yeah, bubblegum pop is the right way to describe it. You know, it's got a dance beat to it, and yeah, it's very easy and fun and catchy. You were the one that said annoyingly catchy, right, Dominic?
yes, I was.
Yeah. There is a bit of an issue that I have with it, though. When it started, and I was getting a sense of the chords, I started thinking about a song that I think is pretty well known called "Issues" by Julia Michaels. Julia Michaels, and then she starts singing about how she has issues. And I was like, wait a minute, that's cutting it a little close, aren't we? And then there is also the fact that one of the hooks in the chorus is "I can't get enough, I can't get enough," and what I thought of was "I just can't get enough, I just can't," which is like, I mean, none of those are really like super original melodies, I would say, but there is a match there, and I'm not going to go into this like plagiarism territory, but derivative, arguably yes, which is why I'm like, I don't think that this is really, you know, in a spot to win in any regard. So I can kind of put that to the side and just appreciate it for its moment, and the fact that it is just, you know, mindless fun, which is sometimes what you need. Sarah Halloran saying this is bubblegum dance pop. There we go.
That's the one I was referring to.
Michael Forbes, I just watched this with my mouth wide open. It's very sugary pop.
Give me some
Makes Vincent F happy. Sven's Eric Peterson saying, I can't get enough is such a joyful and catchy song. I've listened to it on repeat for weeks now. I literally can't get enough of it. Well, talk about mimetic mutation. Why not? Chuck Hill saying, Cazzi is sweet and nice. Would love to see her in the top 5. ESC Viral, I absolutely love. I can't get enough, but the styling is completely wrong for me. I mean, so it is quite over the top and like, I guess, the kind of Eurovision crazy that people think of from the late 2000s. I mean, what do you guys make of that?
She's taking a risk, and I like that fact. I mean, it's not for you, but maybe for others. So I think I like it, and it suits the song. So it wouldn't be appropriate if she would have like a t-shirt and a jean. So I think it's good the way it is.
But you can hear in the song and understand that she's very big in the K-pop genre, I think.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's influenced by that, and that's like this bubblegum pop catchy feeling. Probably comes from that.
Yeah, and I think that the styling definitely reinforces that, because if anything can be said about K-pop is that it takes those aspects and turns them up quite a bit. So, and it's interesting because K-pop is so huge, and yet people still complain about Eurovision for being over the top. But anyway.
Yeah.
Joan Johnson saying, a good song to help me with the housework, good vibes. Let's move on to our very last song, which I think is also going to be bringing a number of good vibes. So I think this is the right way to close a show. Medina is a somewhat familiar artist, I would say. I know that last year, one of them participated as doing his own thing with a featured act, but they've, as a group, have participated in Eurovision before. In Melfest before. Is that right?
Not this duo. Not this.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
Not together.
Right. Okay. So then, whatever. I'm talking about something else. What do you think of this song?
I think it's nice. It's like actually a very popular band, but they had been like not friends with each other for a couple of years, and then they reunited in Melfest. So it's a big thing about that. And it's kind of a hybrid song, I think. It's some kind of a party song and flirting with Eastern Europe. And then we got the march tempo, like an anthem, and football cheerleading, like football choir, you would say. But I like it. I think it's cool. I think they have good energy, and I like that it's fire and dancers, and I like this rhythms that's not so Swedish, I would say. And I like it's very brave of them and a perfect way to close the final.
It's interesting that you talk about, I think did you say Eastern Europe or the Middle East?
I don't know. Help
Because-
me with that.
Well, for me, like it actually reminds me a lot of a song. I don't know the name of it, but it's a Spanish song from an artist who's from a Latin American country, and it has a little bit of a reggaeton flavor, I would say to it, and the chanting definitely gives it like a sports anthem theme, like this is a song for the World Cup kind of thing, and then the trumpets too. So I definitely hear a kind of influence, and maybe that's a way of saying that it's a song with a global sound in a sense. Dominik, what do you think of it?
Yeah, so Sweden, if you want to host like football championship or so, you have your song.
Yeah.
So that was my first initiation. But on the other hand, it gave me like Bella Ciao vibes. Like this.
Hello,
end-
ciao.
Yeah, I was like,
Ah.
it really reminded me of that. It's like the Swedish version of it. I don't know. So I really like that. It's very energetic. It is something you vibe on. The performance suits the song, and the crowd was really feeling this, and which is good. I think the televote will be high. I don't see them winning because of the jury. I think the jury will be very low on this. I have the feeling, which is a shame because it would be so cool to have them at Eurovision. I think because of the language most of all, and because of like this is not what you expect from Sweden. So yeah, I'm happy that they're in the final, and I think the running order spot is perfect. That's exactly how you should end the show.
Yeah, totally. This is because we started with Run to the Hills, which I think is the right opener, to get you running, right? And then this kind of it's up tempo, but it's not like super explosive. It is in a way bringing you down, but it's bringing the party to a close. And I always find it very interesting to watch Swedish audiences, because even when you have something like this going on, they're still like seated and like kind of clapping. Whereas like if it were something around here, people would be way out of their seats, like maybe not throwing chairs or anything, but it would be
usually like
huge.
that, but here we go. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. And here we go. We make a good World Cup song. I guess we've heard a lot of songs with that kind of sound to it. So Tarkil saying, "This is what LIAMOO lacks for me: energy and emotions. Reminds me of one entry from Norway MGP last year." Huh. Possibly Blåsmafien with because they were the brass band.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved Blåsmafien. They should have gone to Eurovision that year, but we're closing the book on that. Vincent F saying,
Don't get me started on MGP 2021.
I believe this is actually the artist that I'm thinking of, Farouk, because there was another song by him that had this sound, but it wasn't the one that I was thinking of. And it sampled, you guys know the dance song from the 90s, Better Off Alone, by Alice DJ?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody knows the melody. Anyway, so as we mentioned, like I don't think we're really considering this as a winner. It would be really interesting to see this go, a song of this style go to Eurovision. I guess it shows you that maybe having to go through Melfest first is a bit of a roadblock. So maybe another country.
Yeah. Exactly.
Who's still open? Iceland? No.
Who's still open. Anyway, so we've come through all 12 songs. Normally we would reflect on who we want to win, and we can, but I think, it is kind of unanimous, and we have already been talking about that already. But let us know if you're watching who you want to see win Melfest this year. Emma, once again, tell us who your winner is.
Oh, as in the beginning of this live stream, I was so into Run to the Hills. But now, after talking to you, I actually changed my mind. So I hold me closer with Cornelia Jakobs. That's the winner. I really hope she wins.
I see. We're influencing you, which was
Yeah.
exactly our plan.
I made myself an influencer now.
European
I'm honored.
influence.
It's-
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree. So I like Klara and Cornelia. I think these are my favorites in terms of going to Eurovision. In terms of the song, I would say LIAMOO is my favorite, just as a Spotify track. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and for me, with all factors considered, it's Cornelia in every aspect, in the song, in the performance, in the potential that it has. I just think that this is such a great opportunity for Sweden to really shine. Not that Sweden hasn't shined in the past, but this is like a way to show a side of Sweden that we haven't seen enough at Eurovision. And I find the comparison to Robin very interesting, because although it's not totally Robin's style, I get that the look is similar, and I feel like that kind of honesty that is in a Robin song comes through in a song like this. So I think that it's definitely a favorable comparison, and not one to say that it's like, you know, she's trying to copy her or anything, right?
I love Robin, and because like she has some kind of melancholy in her songs, but being pop and dancey, usually with a lot of songs. And I like the fact that Cornelia has this, I don't want to say melancholic, but it's like very raw and authentic in a different approach. That's why you would compare it to Robin. I totally see that. Even though like Robin is usually making more of the dance songs, and this is not a dance song. So
yeah, absolutely. DJ Paradis saying Cornelia to win. Tarkil, Cornelia, or at worst Klara. Michael Forbes saying Cornelia to bring ESC back to Sweden. And
Cornelia is great. Klara is better than her second choice.
Yeah.
We shouldn't discredit her. I mean, she would be a great choice for Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say as well that sometimes people do undercut the amount of work that really goes into Melodifestivalen, and it's always a hell of a show. You know, I don't speak very much Swedish apart from hur är läget in that sense. But I can watch it without having to understand what's going on and have a great time. And I know that it's the same thing for a lot of people. It really is just an experience.
I know that one.
What did you say?
Melody number and then something. Melody is like
Sure. That's like 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we learn a little bit every year.
almost good. I'm telling you.
Cornelia is Joanne Johnson's winner, and Little John UK is saying please not Anders Bagge. So
I need to disappoint you. I think Anders Bagge will win, actually.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. Because he has such a big support. If the international jury is like very, very much not Bagge and a lot of points to the other ones, yeah, maybe. But he has the votes from the people, definitely.
Well, we'll have to see.
I kind of want
So
to see that just based on the reaction of the Eurovision bubble.
yeah, I mean, there's been so many implosions this year because certain favorites haven't been chosen. So yeah, it's like what's another one, right? But anyway, obviously, like, you know, lots of great talent here, and if it was Anders Bagge, then I think, you know, I would still wish him the best, because I really like the story that he has, you know, the path that he has taken to get to this point. But anyway, we do have to wrap it up there because it has been almost an hour and a half. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your opinions with us. If you're watching this after the fact, please let us know in the comments what you think about Melfest this year, who your favorites are. I mean, as you see, we've had a lot of love for Cornelia in this chat. Not the only one that we're showing some love and respect for, though. Absolutely. Don't forget to subscribe to Eurovox if you haven't done so already, and reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'd love to keep talking to you throughout the lead up to Eurovision, because we're almost at the point where we will have all 40 songs. How exciting is that?
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Emma. Tack. I was like, I have to learn how to say. There's another word that I know how to say in Swedish.
Tack så mycket, Stu.
Tack så mycket. Tack så mycket.
Stuart. I would say thank you, Stu.
Okay. Tack så mycket, Emma. All right. Take care, everyone. We will see you on the next video. Bye.